Kelly Kim. I'm here to play a session of 1530 Omaha Hello. Let's get started. I chose Omaha Hello because it's really it's a very interesting game because there's a lot of ways to play it. I mean, you get 4 cards and it's a split game, so the object of the game is to try to win both sides. And I mean, the key is to free roll on the low. I mean, to win the low and free roll on the high, so you could scoop pots. When you play this game, a lot of people make mistakes when they just go for high or they're priced out and just going for the low. The key is to try. I mean, it's a grinder's game because you're chipping up and you need to account for equity in each pot to see. I mean, how much your hand is worth if you can win both sides or one way or things like that. Like this, like the ace in this game is probably worth like 2 cards because it's so powerful. It's like the only card you can go 2 ways with. So I mean, obviously for lows you want to go with like ace deuce and ace 3 and things like that. But I mean, you want to have suited aces and you want to have like uncounterfeitable lows. So if you have like just ace deuce. Sometimes, obviously, if it's like cap to you, I mean, if you don't have any other way to win a pot, you probably should fold. People always call with ace deuce, but the problem with ace deuce, like on this board right now, you have half the low. But if a deuce or ace comes, your hand becomes absolutely worth nothing because you get counterfeited. So, obviously, ace deuce 3 would be optimal right here because there's no card that could really hurt you. And so you just got to pick spots where you could do that. Obviously, like right here, a suited ace deuce would be, you'd end up with nut. See, like this hand right here, 8, 9, 4 queen is really bad. Like you should never even put a chip into the pot, even in the blind. Because like middle cards are really bad in this game because you can never really scoop unless you have a full house. Like right here, my first hand, 4, 5, 10 jack, double suited. It's really not really a good hand, but for one more bet in the big blind, I'm going to suit flop. And okay, this is actually, I flopped an open-ended straight draw, but I have a 5 low draw. So, I mean, I'm going to take one off because obviously if I catch an ace, which is a gin card, I'm going to scoop the whole pot. But see now I pick up a flush draw too. So now I have to continue with the hand. I really need to catch an ace or a 6. I'll take the ace of club for sure. And I backed into a straight too. I probably have the best hand here. I have a bad low, but there's 3 cards to a flush. I'm gonna check. I mean, this guy's calling for a reason, so I'm definitely gonna call a bet. I'm not happy with the 5 low. I might get scooped here, but we'll see. Oh, see 5-4 ended up taking half, which is pretty amazing. Oh, he opened with 2 aces and queen 9. I see. I mean, he had a hand, but he had no low draw. The hand plays good heads up, so you can't really fault him for that. So right now, I think Midnight, from what I've seen so far, he's not playing proper strategy, or I would consider him the live one so far. Apollo, let's see what he limped with. See, this hand's pretty bad too. 2, 5, 6, 10, double suited. It looks good, but you run into problems because, see, from what he ended up with a 6-high flush draw, and he ended up with a 6-5 low, they're not really good hands. So I would have never played this hand in this position. Only out of the blinds. And then I have a similar hand, 2, 5, 6 jack, and just folding. They first start off, they play the middle cards. Like a lot of the players convert from like Omaha high, so they can fall in love with hands like 7, 8, 9, 10, which look good, but in essence they're really bad because, like I said earlier, you can never really scoop a hand. You can only win the high. And a lot of people are free rolling on the low. So like if I had 7, 8, 9, 10 here, it looks like a good hand on the flop because I have top 2. But like a flush can get there, people can back into flushes, and you're never going to win the low with that hand. I would say in Omaha high low, you'd want to build your hands from the bottom up. So like start with the aces in the low card and then move up. And like hands like 7-8 king jack and things like that, you'd only want to play out of the blinds. And like this hand's pretty bad, 3, 6, 7 jack. The best starting hand is ace, ace, deuce, 3 double suited. I've probably never even had that ever in my life. So, I mean, I've had like ace, ace, deuce, 3 or like ace, ace, deuce, 4, but like ace, ace, deuce, 3 is the best starting hand because you can make 2 nut flushes and you pretty much have an uncounterfeitable low. I mean, 2 aces with a baby is a really good hand, like ace, ace, 3, ace, ace, 4. With aces in this hand, aces in a low, you really want to get in heads-up situations. See, like ace, 6, queen, 9, like he came into this pot with ace, king, ace, 6, queen, 9. A general good rule for Omaha low is when you want to have at least 2 cards that can make a wheel. And the wheel in this game is ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5. So like an ace, like very low cutoff coming in, it should be ace 5. Or like if you have like hands like 2, 3, 4, you can come in if they're in later position. Because if you make an ace, then you have a pretty good hand for the low. But like ace 6, queen 9, just one suit is bad because, I mean, he's only drawing to ace 6 low, which never really wins pots. I mean, never wins the low. Like he backed into a high right here with 6, 9, which he got kind of lucky. And so the hand I just folded was this hand right here. I just folded at ace 5, 10, 7 with 2 suits with the clubs, the nut clubs. I mean, if I had any other low card with the ace 5, I would have came in. Like ace 4 obviously would have got me there with the wheel right now. So far, I think I picked a pretty good game. I don't really see, like, these 2 players, Kosin Easy and Benz, seem like they're not really getting involved. And in Omaha low, it's kind of a patient game. You have to wait. When I'm looking for inexperienced players or like players that I'm marking as like the person I'm going to extract money from, I basically look at their starting hand their starting hands and see. And then you could tag their weaknesses based on their starting hands, and you could see their flaws. And like in Omaha low, you have to start good because, like you just can't spot someone a much better hand than yours in this game because you can't really avoid it. I mean, you get 4 cards, and essentially you're getting dealt 9 cards to make the best 5-card hand going high or low. Okay, this hand looks like a good hand, but I'm just going to fold it. Like this is what I told you when you get involved in like middle situations where you're only going to win high. Like the only way I can scoop the whole thing is comes out like ace, deuce, 3. And see, like right now I'd be trapped. I'd have a 5-4 low draw with a pair of 6s and a flush draw, which looks good, but like the 5-4, it's the 5-4 that really got me against this hand. So I end up making a decent hand. I have a 10-eye straight with a 5-4 low. But I just don't want to get involved because you get trapped. The problem with Omaha low is, see this hand, I would have won the high against him with a 10-eye straight, but he had me pretty much covered in all angles with the deuce 4, the top pair, and see like this hand right here, queen 9, 3, 3, is just absolutely atrocious. You should never put a cent in this. He actually called a raise with this, which is, this is one of the worst hands you could ever play in this game. So let's hope Apollo gets lucky and wins some pots, so he stays in action. In this game, like you try to get more money. The way to win big money in this game is like to have the same nut low and a free roll for the high. So if you get like, if you have a nut low and you have a flush draw, and I would just hammer the pot because, I mean, even if someone else has the same low, if you end up making your flush, you're free rolling to get 3/4 of the pot, which is, I mean, scooping and quartering people is pretty key in this game to get good scores. But as you can see, like I won the first pot, like I won half of it, which was fairly small, and I haven't fluctuated. Omaha low is really a grinder's game. So you just kind of, like I like multi-tabling this game. Like this hand right here, I have 3 wheel cards with an ace, but I have no suits. But in this position, I'm still going to raise coming in. it's key to have the 3 wheel cards. And he comes in, which is not good. So right now I have no high, but I have the nut low draw. I guess right now the best card for me would be a 4. Then I have a chance to scoop both ways, and I make the low. All right, so now I have the nut low, but no high. But I'm still betting because no matter what, I'm getting some money in this pot as long as the 3 doesn't come. And okay, so if this card came on the turn, my hand would be a lot stronger. But I'm still betting ace 3. I have a feeling he might have ace 3 too, but I know Apollo's just out there with, yeah. Wow, see, he hit the 4 to scoop the 3/4 of me, which is kind of brutal. We pretty much had the same draw. So this is a pretty good hand. I have ace deuce and 2 flush draws. I mean, obviously in an optimal scenario, this 9 or 6 would be smaller, but it's okay. Okay, so now I end up with a pair of 9s. There's no low possible. I'm just going to check with my 9s and a 6 high flush draw. I'm going to call a bet, but I can't play this hand strongly because I don't have insurance. Like, you need insurance in this game, like backdoor lows or lows. So right now I'm playing a pair of 9s and a flush draw, but I don't have enough information to just fold. Okay, now that's a pretty bad card. So now I'm drawing a 6 high flush draw when I could be drawing dead here. And given the fact that Midnight comes in with a lot of big hands, I'm just going to let him have it. I mean, when I mean big hands, I mean high hands. He's all over these type of boards from what I've seen so far. I just think he's pretty tight, and I think he's got the approach to this game right. Because in Omaha, like I said, you can't really spot anyone just good cards in Omaha nonstop because eventually they're just going to chop you down. That's the nature of the game. Oh, Apollo, I think, went broke. Oh, see. He called an ace high board with 2 queens. I mean, this is really bad. And, oh, he reloaded. That's a good sign. Okay, this hand is, you can't even defend. You have no suits. I'm hoping to get in cheap with this hand for $5. I do have the nut flush draw with the diamonds, but okay, this is where it gets kind of interesting. I flop top 2. I don't really have a low. I mean, I have to back. I mean, if another low card comes, I'm playing a live 5. At this point, I'm still going to call with top 2. Okay, this actually makes my hand a little better, the deuce, because now I have like I'm playing a low, which is only a live 5, but I still have top 2, which is still a big hand here. Oh, wow. That's probably the worst card in the deck. The 5 of spade, okay. That's a really bad card. The worst card because I no longer have a low. And, like, if he's drawing to a flush, I have a low, I'm playing the board, essentially, with my hand. See, against him, I had him in bad shape here. We had the same, okay. In this board, I had him in bad shape. We had the same low. We're playing a live 5 on the turn, but I have ace 8 and he has ace 6. So, when the river came, I 3/4'd him. I won the high with the ace 8, and we both play the board for low. That's why I 3/4'd him. When you quarter someone is when you have like the same low, and then let's say your head's up and you both have ace deuce, but then you pair like a jack, and they don't pair a jack, so they're just playing a low, and they're hoping for half. Sometimes in this game you get in situations where you're only hoping for half. So when you quarter someone is we split the half, we split the low, and then I win all the high. So that's how you quarter someone. You end up getting 75% of the pot. if you have the identical low hand or the identical high hand. So those are key situations in this game, is to free roll for one side or the other and have the same hand. When he raised the turn on this board, I'm assuming is a two-way potential hand. He's smart enough not to just bet the nut low here. Okay, he had the nut full house and a live 5. Almost actually, like 2 years ago, I hated this game. I thought it was just, I started playing a lot of mixed games, and I just really, it's really kind of, it's very intricate because it's like Hold'em, but it's just it's a lot harder because you get an extra 2 cards and it's a split game. So, I mean, once I learned to figure out the game a little bit, I started appreciating it. I really enjoy playing it now, but it takes a long time because you get in a lot of marginal situations in this game, and then you have to learn to avoid getting squeezed. Squeeze is when, like, let's say you're drawing and one guy has a low and one guy has a high, and they start raising and raising, and I mean, you got to avoid those situations, or try to. You have to see it coming so you can just fold when you know that's going to happen. Okay, I have ace 5-5-8 with 3 clubs. It's a good hand in the blind. Okay, I can't fold here, getting 7-1. I'm hoping for like a deuce 3. Okay. See, this is what makes this hand bad. Is as soon as you pair the ace, you know, I mean, you feel so vulnerable. So I'm just gonna fold. I mean, I have a 5-8 low draw with no clubs. I have really no shot of winning this pot. 2-3-5-5. This hand's pretty bad. I mean, it's a good hand in the blinds, because right now I have the nut low draw, but I don't want to call a raise with it. And this is exactly what I told you about getting counterfeited. I mean, I still end up with deuce 5 low, which is the third nut low, or second nut low, deuce 4 and deuce 5. But if I didn't have the 5 as a backup, then I would have probably got scooped. Okay, hands like this is very, it's pretty delicate to play hands like this because you're only going for one-way hands, like all 4 Broadway cards are like this. In some situations, I could 3-bet here and just hope that it comes high, but I'd rather just fold and not get involved with king, 9, 10. A lot of PLO players that come over, they overvalue hands like that, and they hammer it and just play the kings, and sometimes they get there, but I mean, you get in a lot of bad situations playing only high hands. I mean, generally I only play high hands out of the blinds or on the button, the first one in, or something like that. Like this one though, with 2 aces, you just can't fold 2 aces. I don't really like this smooth call from this guy. He's a good player. I'm hoping for a big flop, just so if it comes all small, I'm just going to fold, check fold. Okay, this is a good flop for me. I have 2 aces and an open-ended straight draw. I'm going to play pretty strong. Okay. I'm hoping that the deuce pairs. Oh, wow, he raised. Okay, that changes things. Let's see what. Oh. Man. Okay, that might be one of the worst cards in the deck. I'm gonna fold. Like, this is exactly the problem with playing high hands. Okay, this is a good hand. I'm gonna raise. My hand looked good on the flop, but look what happened. I mean, there's a flush draw got there, the low draw there. He raised a turn. I don't think he's raising with, I think he's raising with a potential type hand. Like, he might have like ace-3 of clubs even. All right, this hand against, this is a pretty big hand. I have the second low draw, a middle pair, and an open-ended straight draw. Okay. Even if he raises, I'm okay with it. Obviously, a deuce is the best card in the deck. It gets me nut. And now I end up with just a pair of fives. I'd rather have him bet because then I have a chance at him bluffing. Now I think he's got like jack, ace, deuce, and I'm just screwed. Oh, he had ace, king, 5. Okay, we chopped it. We pretty much had the same hand. He had a free roll with the diamonds, but I had an extra low card out. They're probably worth about the same. All right, I raised with the ace, 5-8. 2 aces in the game is pretty powerful with a low card. It's not optimal because I don't have any suits. Oh, wow. He just leads right out. All right, at this point, he's representing a deuce here, but I'm hoping to back into a low. Okay, that's a really good card for me. So I'm going to continue with my hand. That's not good. Okay, this is the problem where I told you. It gives you so now I play an ace-8 low and 2 aces. I'm probably not going to get scoop here, but I'm checking it. Let's see. Okay, this is a pretty good hand. Any suited ace deuce with another low card is a big hand in this game. Okay, this is a good flop. I have flop trips, obviously. I have the nut low backdoor draw. Okay, now I have a full house. I really don't like the deuce that much because if he's, I'm gonna raise him. We might have the same hand actually. Okay, that was, I don't know what he had. He might have been trying to, okay, right here, ace-3, 8-9 with no suits. I'm just gonna fold in this position. The problem with this hand is if you pair like an ace or 3 right away, then your hand becomes really bad. Okay, I hope you guys learned something from watching me play Omaha8 or better. It's a very interesting game, and in this situation, I think that there's some really good spots here. Like Apollo, he's on his 3rd buy-in, and Midnight I don't think plays too well. So you look for situations like this and players like these, and I hope you guys come play with me at Full Tilt Poker.